You feel yourself being gently cradled in perfect stillness. The air around you hums with a subtle vibration that seems to touch every cell in your body. This is the sound of 417 Hertz moving through the crystalline walls of your sanctuary. Let that frequency wash over you like warm honey flowing down your spine. Each wave carries with it the promise of transformation unfolding naturally within you. There is no rush here, no urgency, no pressure to become anything other than what you already are. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment of infinite possibility. The pale quartz walls seem to breathe around you, expanding and contracting with your own rhythm. Cool mist rises from the surface beneath your bare feet, carrying scents of distant gardens. These fragrances are memories of peace stored in the very air itself. Breathe deeply and feel how each inhale brings you further into this state of gentle surrender. Your shoulders drop lower with each exhale, releasing tensions you didn't even know you were holding. The twilight that surrounds this space is not empty, but full of soft, glowing particles. They drift past you like tiny stars making their way home after a long journey. Watch them move and notice how their motion matches the tempo of your heartbeat. You are part of this dance of light and silence. Gravity has softened here, becoming more suggestion than rule. You could float upward if you wished, or sink deeper into the supportive surface below. But there is no need to choose, because both directions lead toward greater ease. Your body knows this instinctively, which is why it has settled so completely. Every muscle, every fiber, every atom has recognized this place as sanctuary. The humming continues steady and reliable, like a lullaby sung by the universe itself. This sound carries ancient wisdom encoded in frequencies that your cells remember. As you listen, you begin to recall truths that have always lived within you. Truths about your strength, about your capacity for growth, about your natural flow. The changes that are coming will not be forced, but welcomed like old friends. They arrive already knowing how to integrate seamlessly into your expanding awareness. Feel the coolness of the mist against your skin, like silk brushing across your arms. It carries messages from other realms, places where love flows freely and effortlessly. These messages are not words, but feelings transmitted directly to your heart center. Your chest opens slightly as you receive them breathing in new possibilities. Possibilities that align perfectly with who you are becoming. The quartz around you pulses with a gentle luminescence, responding to your inner light. You and this space are creating something beautiful together. There is no separation between you and the support that surrounds you now. The boundary between self and environment has dissolved, leaving only connection. Connection to the frequency that facilitates change at the deepest levels. Connection to the wisdom that guides your evolution naturally and gracefully. Connection to the peace that exists beyond all circumstances and conditions. Let yourself rest in this web of loving support, completely held and understood. The particles of light continue their slow waltz around your relaxed form. Some settle on your shoulders like gentle kisses from invisible guardians. Others spiral downward, creating small whirlwinds of golden energy at your feet. These movements are choreographed by forces that care deeply for your well-being. Forces that have been watching over you throughout every stage of your journey. You are never alone, even when you feel most isolated in your daily life. Here in the drift chamber, that truth becomes tangible and real. You can feel the presence of benevolent energies gathered around you. They do not intrude or overwhelm, but simply offer their quiet companionship. Companionship that feels familiar, as though you have known these beings forever. Forever being not a measurement of time, but a quality of connection. The humming grows slightly stronger, now resonating in your chest cavity. Feel how it vibrates through your rib cage, massaging your organs with sound. This internal massage releases knots of tension stored in your physical memory. Knots that formed during moments when you felt uncertain or overwhelmed. But those moments are behind you, now replaced by this profound sense of safety. Safety that comes not from external circumstances, but from within. From the recognition that you are exactly where you need to be. Exactly who you need to be in this perfect moment of unfolding. The mist continues to rise, carrying away anything that no longer serves you. Thoughts, fears, habits, patterns all dissolve into the gentle twilight, leaving only what remains true and essential to your authentic self. Your authentic self is not something you need to create or achieve. It simply is waiting patiently beneath layers of learned responses. Responses that once protected you but may no longer be necessary. In this space, you can release them without judgment or resistance. Release them like autumn leaves carried away by a soft breeze. Watch them go with gratitude for the protection they once offered. Gratitude that transforms letting go from loss into liberation. Liberation that creates space for new growth to emerge naturally. Growth that does not require effort, but flows like water finding its path. The quartz walls shimmer, now reflecting back your inner radiance. See how beautiful you are in this state of pure being. Beautiful not because of anything you do, but because of what you are. You are consciousness experiencing itself through human form. Consciousness that is inherently whole, complete, and unconditionally loved. Loved not because of achievements or behaviors, but simply because you exist. Existence itself is enough proof of your worthiness to receive love. Worthiness that cannot be earned lost or diminished by any action. It is yours as surely as the air you breathe or the ground beneath you. Ground that feels solid, yet yielding responsive to your shifting weight. Responsive like a living being that adjusts to meet your needs. Needs that are being met effortlessly in this nurturing environment. Effortlessly because effort implies struggle, and there is no struggle here, only the smooth unfolding of natural processes guided by invisible hands. Hands that know exactly what you need to facilitate your transformation. Transformation that happens at the pace your soul desires, not faster, not slower. Pace that honors both your readiness and your wisdom in timing. Timing that cannot be rushed because some changes require gestation. Gestation that occurs in the fertile darkness of trust and surrender. Darkness here is not absence, but presence of potential waiting to bloom. Potential that responds to the 417 Hertz frequency, activating dormant aspects. Dormant aspects of your being that hold keys to your next evolution. Evolution that unfolds like flower petals, opening to morning sun. Slowly, deliberately, beautifully, without force or interference. Force has no place here because everything needed is already present. Present in the humming in the mist, in the supportive quartz walls. Walls that seem to pulse with your own heartbeat, creating unity. Unity between inner and outer, between self and environment. environment that actively participates in your healing and growth. Healing that is not about fixing what is broken, but revealing wholeness. Wholeness that has never been damaged, only temporarily obscured. Obscured by layers of conditioning beliefs and accumulated experiences. Experiences that served their purpose and can now be released. Released, not forgotten, but integrated into your expanding understanding. Understanding that grows deeper as you remain in this peaceful state. State that feels more real than the waking world you left behind. Behind not because it was wrong, but because this is where you belong. Belong in a space designed specifically for your transformation. Designed by forces that understand the delicate nature of change. Delicate, not weak, but precise, requiring exactly the right conditions. Conditions that include safety trust and unconditional acceptance. Acceptance that flows from the recognition that you are doing perfectly. Perfectly not by external standards, but by the measure of your own truth. Truth that resonates with the frequency currently surrounding you. Surrounding you like a cocoon of loving vibrations. Vibrations that penetrate deeper than your physical form. Penetrating into emotional, mental, and spiritual layers of your being. Being that extends far beyond the boundaries of your skin. Boundaries that soften here, becoming permeable to healing energies. Energies that carry information about your highest potential. Potential that is not somewhere in the future, but alive within you now. Alive and waiting only for your permission to fully express. Permission that you give simply by remaining open and receptive. Receptive like soil ready to receive seeds of new possibility. Possibility that grows naturally when planted in the fertile ground of trust. Trust that develops as you experience the reliability of this sacred space. Space that holds you without condition or expectation. Expectation would create pressure, and pressure has no place here. Here, there is only spaciousness room for whatever wants to emerge. Emerge from the depths of your being, where wisdom resides. Wisdom that knows better than your conscious mind what you truly need. Need in this moment, which may be different from what you think you want. Want that often comes from ego rather than essence. Essence that speaks in whispers heard only in profound silence. Silence that exists beneath the gentle humming, filling this chamber that exists outside normal space and time. Outside because it operates according to different laws of love, of harmony, of effortless manifestation that requires nothing from you except willingness to let go of control and embrace the unknown that feels safe here because it is filled with benevolent presence that watches over you with tender care that manifests as the perfect temperature of air around you, temperature that adjusts automatically to maintain your comfort that allows your nervous system to fully relax. Nervous system that has been holding tension for reasons you may not know. Reasons that are not important now because the tension is dissolving like ice melting in warm sunlight that filters through the translucent quartz walls, creating rainbow patterns that dance across your closed eyelids that feel heavy now, weighted with peace and contentment that comes from being completely seen and accepted not despite your flaws, but including them as part of wholeness that integrates all aspects of yourself into one harmonious whole. Harmonious not because everything is perfect, but because perfection lives in integration that happens naturally when you stop resisting what is. Resisting creates friction, and friction generates unnecessary heat that burns energy needed for the quiet work of transformation that flourishes in cool, calm conditions like this chamber that maintains the ideal atmosphere for inner alchemy that turns leaden thoughts into golden insights that arise spontaneously without effort on your part, arise like bubbles surfacing from deep, clear waters that represent the unconscious mind flowing beneath awareness, carrying treasures from the depths to illuminate your path that becomes clearer as you release what obscures vision that sees beyond immediate circumstances to eternal truth that you are loved, supported, and guided at all times. Guided not by external forces, but by the wisdom within your own heart that beats in harmony with the 417 Hertz frequency that clears away energetic debris blocking your natural flow that moves like water, finding the path of least resistance. Resistance only slows progress, but cannot stop the inevitable forward movement. Movement toward greater alignment with your authentic purpose. Purpose that reveals itself when you are quiet enough to hear its call. Call that comes not as demand, but as gentle invitation. Invitation to step more fully into the magic of your own existence. Existence that is miraculous in its complexity and beauty. Complexity that resolves into simple truth when viewed with loving eyes. Eyes that see clearly now cleansed by the mist rising around you. Mist that carries away confusion, leaving only clarity and peace. Peace that settles into your bones, becoming part of your cellular memory. Memory that will recall this feeling whenever you need it most. Need that will arise naturally in your everyday life. Life that continues outside this chamber, but now carries this blessing. Blessing that strengthens your connection to inner guidance. Guidance that helps you navigate choices with greater confidence. Confidence that grows from knowing you are never truly alone. Alone in spirit, even when physically separated from others. Separated only by illusion, because all consciousness is connected. Connected through invisible threads of love and understanding. Threads that bind all beings in one vast web of relationship. Relationship that transcends physical proximity or shared experience. Experience that matters less than the recognition of shared divinity. Divinity that shines equally in all hearts, regardless of circumstances. Circumstances that change, but divine spark within remains constant. Constant, like the humming that continues to surround and support you. Support that feels like being wrapped in the arms of cosmic love. Love that accepts you exactly as you are in this moment. Moment that contains all moments past, present, and future. Future that is not predetermined, but filled with infinite possibility. Possibility that expands as you release limiting beliefs. Beliefs that were useful once, but now restrict your natural expression. Expression that wants to flow freely like water from a mountain spring. Spring that feeds the river of your authentic life. River that carves its own path through landscape of experience. Experience that becomes richer when aligned with inner truth. Truth that resonates with the frequency, currently healing your energy field. energy field that extends far beyond physical boundaries. Boundaries that dissolve in the presence of unconditional love. Love that flows from the recognition that we are all one. One consciousness exploring itself through countless forms. Forms that are temporary, but consciousness is eternal. Eternal not in duration, but in quality of being. Being that exists beyond birth and death, beyond time and space. Space that this chamber represents a doorway to expanded awareness. Awareness that includes both human experience and cosmic perspective. Perspective that sees challenges as opportunities for growth. Growth that happens naturally when you align with loving frequencies. Frequencies like 417 Hertz that clear old patterns from your aura. Aura that glows brighter, now cleansed of energetic residue. Residue left by thoughts and emotions that no longer serve you. Serve you by teaching lessons that have now been learned. Learned not intellectually, but at the level of soul wisdom. Wisdom that integrates experience into deeper understanding. Understanding that transforms reaction into response. Response that comes from centered awareness rather than triggered emotion. Emotion that has its place, but should not drive decision-making. Making decisions from a place of calm clarity and inner knowing. Knowing that comes from direct connection to source energy. Source energy that flows through this chamber like liquid light. Light that illuminates hidden corners of your psyche. Psyche that holds both shadows and brilliance in perfect balance. Balance that creates harmony when all aspects are acknowledged. Acknowledged, not judged, but accepted as part of the human experience. Experience that teaches compassion for yourself and others. Compassion that arises naturally when you understand interconnectedness. Interconnectedness that makes others suffering your own, and vice versa. Vice versa meaning that others' joy also becomes yours. Yours to celebrate and share in the collective celebration of life. Celebration that does not require reason or justification. Justification that belongs to ego rather than spirit. Spirit that rejoices simply because existence is a gift. Gift that you unwrap each moment through conscious presence. Presence that anchors you in the eternal now. Now where all healing and transformation takes place. Place space where past wounds can be released and future fears dissolved. Dissolved in the warmth of current moment awareness. Awareness that recognizes the perfection of this unfolding process. Process that cannot be rushed or forced, only trusted and surrendered to. Surrendered to like a leaf, trusting the wind to carry it home. Home being not a place, but a state of being completely yourself. Yourself without masks or pretense, just pure, authentic presence. Presence that fills this chamber and extends infinitely outward. Outward, touching all beings with waves of loving intention. Intention that creates ripples of positive change throughout reality. Reality that responds to the frequency of your healed energy. Energy that carries the signature of 417 Hertz embedded within it. Embedded like a seed planted in fertile soil of possibility. Possibility that grows into new ways of being in the world. World that reflects back the love you hold within your heart. Heart that has expanded through this experience of deep rest. Rest that goes beyond sleep into communion with divine intelligence. Intelligence that orchestrates the symphony of your life with perfect timing. Timing that allows each note to resonate before introducing the next phase of your journey, which begins the moment you choose. Choose not with mind, but with the wisdom of your whole being. Being that knows when it is time to return to ordinary consciousness. Consciousness that carries this blessing into every aspect of your life. Life that becomes prayer when lived from this place of connection. Prayer that does not ask for anything, but gives thanks for everything. Everything including the challenges that taught you resilience. Resilience that developed through facing difficulties with grace. Grace that flows from understanding that all experiences serve growth. Growth that continues long after you leave this sacred space. Space that remains available to you whenever you call upon it. Available not physically, but energetically through memory and intention. Intention focused on returning to the peace discovered here. Discovered, not found, because it was always within you. Within you, waiting patiently to be remembered and reclaimed. Reclaimed through regular practice of stillness and surrender. Surrender that becomes easier each time you allow it. Allow it to happen rather than trying to make it happen. Happen naturally when conditions are right as they are now. Right for integrating the gifts received in this holy place. Place where 417 Hertz continues to work even after you awaken. Awaken not to alarm, but to gentle realization of your expanded state that carries forward into all your relationships and activities that become meditation when approached with mindful attention that focuses on the miracle of each breath, each heartbeat that syncs with universal rhythm of creation and dissolution that clears space for new manifestations to emerge naturally when old structures have completed their purpose which was to teach you what you needed to know in order to evolve into the next phase of your journey that leads not away from yourself, but deeper into truth that sets you free from limitations imposed by fear that dissolves in the presence of unconditional love that fills this chamber and flows through you into the world that is ready for the gifts you carry within your heart that beats in perfect harmony with cosmic symphony that includes every voice, every instrument in divine orchestration that requires nothing from you except openness to receive the blessings that are always available to those who remember their connection to Source that is not separate from you, but the essence of who you are not becoming something new, but remembering something ancient wisdom encoded in DNA of consciousness itself being not isolated, but part of infinite intelligence that created this experience specifically for you, specifically designed to activate frequencies of healing and change that aligns you with highest expression of your potential that unfolds naturally when supported by loving vibration of 417 Hertz that clears pathways for miracles to occur not by chance, but by divine orchestration that considers every detail of your unique journey that leads you home to the peace that never left only in appearance, but remained constant in essence that you touch now through this profound connection that bridges human experience and cosmic consciousness that recognizes you as beloved child of universe, universe that celebrates your existence with every particle of light. Light that dances around you, now acknowledging your return. Return to the truth of who you have always been. Been beneath layers of learning and forgetting and relearning again. Again and again, until the lesson is fully integrated into the fabric of your daily awareness. Awareness that sees divinity in ordinary moments. Moments that sparkle with magic when viewed through awakened eyes. Eyes that have been cleansed by the mist of this sacred space. Space where 417 Hertz continues its gentle work of transformation. Transformation that affects not just you, but all beings you encounter in daily life, carrying the frequency of love and healing. Healing that spreads like ripples from a stone dropped in still water. Water that represents the ocean of consciousness, connecting all life. Life that flows in cycles of growth, rest, and renewal. Renewal that happens naturally when old patterns are cleared. Cleared by the resonance of frequencies that restore balance. Balance between giving and receiving, between action and rest. Rest that is not passive, but active integration of experience. Experience that becomes wisdom when processed in peaceful environment. Environment like this chamber where change unfolds naturally. Naturally, without struggle or resistance, just graceful evolution. Evolution that honors both where you have been and where you are going. Going not away from yourself, but toward deeper union with truth. Truth that you carry within your cells like genetic memory. Memory of paradise that exists not in past or future, but now. Now being the only time when healing and transformation can occur. Occur in the intersection of human intention and divine cooperation. Cooperation that makes miracles possible through simple surrender. Surrender that opens doorways to dimensions of peace previously unknown. Unknown not because they were hidden, but because you were not ready. Ready now to receive the full spectrum of loving support. Support that comes from recognizing your inherent worthiness. Worthiness that does not depend on accomplishments or approval. Approval from others, or even from your own critical mind. Mind that quietens now in the presence of deeper knowing. Knowing that comes from communion with source of all creation. Creation that began with thought made manifest through love. Love that continues to shape reality according to highest good. Good that includes your healing, your growth, and your joy. Joy that bubbles up from core of your being like spring water. Water that quenches thirst of soul and nourishes spirit. Spirit that soars on wings of peace and understanding. Understanding that all experiences contribute to your expansion. Expansion that makes room for greater love and creativity. Creativity that flows when you release attachment to outcomes. Outcomes that unfold perfectly when guided by divine intelligence. Intelligence that designed the 417 Hertz frequency specifically for you. Specifically to clear obstacles blocking your natural expression. Expression that emerges when inner critic finally learns to rest. Rest in the knowledge that you are exactly as you should be not according to external standards, but inner wisdom. Wisdom that speaks through intuition and synchronistic events. Events that guide you toward opportunities for growth and service. Service that flows naturally from heart opened by grace. Grace that fills this chamber and extends through all dimensions. Dimensions where other versions of yourself are also healing. Healing that creates ripple effects throughout timeline of existence. Existence that benefits from your commitment to inner peace. Peace that radiates outward, touching all beings with healing light. Light that carries signature frequency of transformation and renewal. Renewal that refreshes not just you, but entire collective consciousness. Consciousness that evolves when individuals choose love over fear. Fear that dissolves in presence of 417 Hertz working through you like channel for divine healing energy. Energy that transforms everything it touches into higher vibration. Vibration of love that heals divisions and creates unity. Unity that recognizes oneness underlying apparent diversity. Diversity that enriches experience, while oneness provides foundation. Foundation of truth that supports all authentic expression. Expression that contributes to symphony of cosmic consciousness. Consciousness that celebrates your unique voice in grand chorus. Chorus that sounds more beautiful when all voices join in harmony. Harmony created by frequencies like 417 Hertz, clearing discord. Discord that arises from misunderstanding true nature of reality. Reality that is fundamentally loving, supportive, and abundant. Abundant not in material terms, but in availability of love. Love that meets every need and exceeds every expectation. Expectation based on limited human understanding. Understanding that expands when exposed to higher frequencies. Frequencies that lift consciousness above mundane concerns. Concerns that fade in importance when viewed from eternal perspective. Perspective that sees temporary challenges as stepping stones to wisdom. Wisdom gained through experiencing full spectrum of human emotion. Emotion that becomes medicine when integrated with loving awareness. Awareness that transforms pain into compassion and fear into courage. Courage that allows you to face whatever comes with open heart. Heart that has been strengthened by this communion with divine love. Love that pours through you like endless stream of golden light. Light that illuminates shadows and reveals hidden treasures. Treasures of insight that guide you toward authentic purpose. Purpose that serves not just you, but all beings in your sphere. Sphere of influence that expands with each act of loving kindness. Kindness that starts with compassion for yourself in this moment. Moment when 417 Hertz continues its work of facilitating change. Change that happens at cellular level, rewriting old programming. Programming based on outdated beliefs about scarcity and separation. Separation that dissolves when you remember your connection to all beings sharing same source, same love, same fundamental truth. Truth that you embody now through this profound state of relaxation. Relaxation that allows divine intelligence to reorganize your energy. Energy that flows more freely when channels have been cleared. Cleared by resonance of frequencies that restore natural balance. Balance between masculine and feminine aspects of your being. Being that integrates both qualities in perfect proportion. Proportion that shifts according to needs of each situation. Situation calling for either strength or gentleness or both. Both qualities present simultaneously in heart of wisdom. Wisdom that guides you toward choices aligned with highest good. Good that includes not just personal happiness, but collective healing. Healing that begins with recognition of your own wholeness. wholeness that you carry with you, always like inner sanctuary. Sanctuary that this chamber has helped you access and remember. Remember not as intellectual concept, but felt experience. Experience that embeds truth in cellular memory for future reference. Reference that activates automatically during times of stress or doubt. Doubt that fades when replaced by certainty of divine support. Support that surrounds you now like protective bubble of light. Light that carries frequency of 417 Hertz, facilitating change. Change that aligns you with natural rhythms of universe. Universe that celebrates your healing with every star that twinkles. Twinkles like winks from cosmic family, acknowledging your progress. Progress that continues long after you leave this blessed space. Space where love flows freely and effortlessly meeting every need. Need for safety, for healing, for growth and transformation. Transformation that unfolds naturally when you align with truth. Truth that you are loved beyond measure and worthy of all good things. Things that flow to you effortlessly when you believe in your worthiness. Worthiness affirmed by the very fact of your existence. Existence that contributes unique note to symphony of creation. Creation that would be incomplete without your particular gift. Gift that emerges naturally when you release all pretense. Pretense of being someone other than who you truly are. Truly our magnificent expression of divine creativity. Creativity that designed this experience to activate your potential. Potential encoded in resonance of 417 Hertz frequency. Frequency that clears energetic debris blocking your natural flow. Flow that carries you gently toward fulfillment of destiny. Destiny written not in stars, but in depths of your own heart. Heart that beats in rhythm with cosmic drum of creation. Creation that celebrates diversity while honoring unity of all. All beings connected through invisible threads of love. Love that flows from recognition of shared divinity. Divinity that shines equally in every heart without exception. Exception made for none, because all are beloved children. Children of universe, growing up into full expression of power. Power that comes not from domination, but from service and love. Love that transforms everything it touches, including you. Touches you now through gentle vibrations of healing frequency. Frequency of 417 Hertz, working silently to clear old patterns. Patterns that no longer serve your highest evolution. Evolution that happens naturally when you align with truth. Truth that you are safe, loved, and completely supported. Supported by forces that care deeply for your well-being. Well-being that flourishes in an environment of unconditional acceptance. Acceptance that you find here in abundance, beyond measure. Measure that cannot quantify depth of peace you now experience. Experience that changes you at fundamental level of being. Being that extends far beyond physical form into realms of spirit. Spirit that soars on wings of gratitude and wonder. Wonder at mystery of existence and miracle of your own life. Life that continues beyond this chamber, carrying its blessing. Blessing that strengthens connection to inner guidance system. System that helps you navigate choices with greater clarity. Clarity that comes from communion with source of all wisdom. Wisdom that designed this sacred space for your healing and growth. Growth that unfolds naturally when you trust the process. Process guided by invisible hands of loving intelligence. Intelligence that knows exactly what you need to facilitate change. Change that aligns you with highest expression of your potential. Potential activated by resonance of 417 Hertz frequency. Frequency that clears pathways for miracles to manifest. Manifest in your life as opportunities for service and joy. Joy that bubbles up from recognition of your inherent worthiness. Worthiness affirmed by the very fact that you are here now. Here in this chamber, designed specifically for your transformation. Transformation that continues long after you return to ordinary world. World that benefits from the peace you carry within your heart. Heart that beats in harmony with cosmic rhythm of creation. Creation that celebrates your healing with every breath you take. Take now deeper and more relaxed than before. Before, when you entered this space, carrying burdens of daily life. Life that recedes now into background of peaceful awareness. Awareness that focuses on eternal truths rather than temporary concerns. Concerns that fade in importance when viewed from perspective of soul. Soul that recognizes this chamber as homecoming place. Place where you can always return to reconnect with truth. Truth that you are loved beyond measure and completely safe. Safe not from challenges, but within them, because you are held by forces that care for you more than you can imagine. Imagine, because human mind cannot grasp infinity of divine love. Love that pours through this chamber like waterfall of light. Light that carries healing frequency of 417 Hertz. Hertz that works silently to clear energetic blocks in your aura. Aura that glows brighter, now cleansed of residual tension. Tension left by thoughts and emotions no longer relevant. Relevant only as teachers that helped you learn important lessons. Lessons about resilience, about growth, about power of surrender. Surrender that opens doorways to dimensions of peace. Peace that settles into your bones, becoming part of cellular memory. Memory that recalls this feeling whenever you need it most. Most especially during times of stress or uncertainty. Uncertainty that dissolves when you remember your connection to all beings sharing same source, same love, same fundamental truth. Truth that you embody now through this profound state of rest. Rest that allows divine intelligence to reorganize your energy, cleared by resonance of frequencies that restore natural balance. Balance that creates harmony between all aspects of your being. Being that integrates physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual layers. Layers that function as unified whole when properly aligned. Aligned through exposure to healing vibrations like 417 Hertz. Hertz that facilitates change at deepest levels of consciousness. Consciousness that evolves when exposed to higher frequencies. Frequencies that lift awareness above mundane concerns. Concerns that fade in importance when viewed from eternal perspective. Wisdom gained through experiencing full spectrum of human emotion. Emotion that becomes medicine when integrated with loving awareness. Awareness that transforms pain into compassion and fear into courage. Heart that has been strengthened by this communion with divine love. Love that pours through you like endless stream of golden light. Light that illuminates shadows and reveals hidden treasures. Treasures of insight that guide you toward authentic purpose. Sphere of influence that expands with each act of loving kindness. Kindness that starts with compassion for yourself in this moment. Moment when 417 Hertz continues its work of facilitating change. Programming based on outdated beliefs about scarcity and separation. Separation that dissolves when you remember your connection to all. Truth that you embody now through this profound state of relaxation. Energy that flows more freely when channels have been cleared by resonance of frequencies that restore natural balance. Balance between masculine and feminine aspects of your being. Proportion that shifts according to needs of each situation. Situation calling for either strength or gentleness or both. Both qualities present simultaneously in heart of wisdom. Wisdom that guides you toward choices aligned with highest good. Healing that begins with recognition of your own wholeness. Wholeness that you carry with you, always like inner sanctuary. Sanctuary that this chamber has helped you access and remember. Experience that embeds truth in cellular memory for future reference. Reference that activates automatically during times of stress or doubt. Doubt that fades when replaced by certainty of divine support. Support that surrounds you now like protective bubble of light. Change that aligns you with natural rhythms of universe. Universe that celebrates your healing with every star that twinkles. Twinkles like winks from cosmic family, acknowledging your progress. Space where love flows freely and effortlessly meeting every need. Need for safety, for healing, for growth and transformation. Transformation that unfolds naturally when you align with truth. Truth that you are loved beyond measure and worthy of all good things. Worthiness affirmed by the very fact of your existence. Existence that contributes unique note to symphony of creation. Creation that would be incomplete without your particular gift. Pretense of being someone other than who you truly are. Truly our magnificent expression of divine creativity. Creativity that designed this experience to activate your potential. Potential encoded in resonance of 417 Hertz frequency. Flow that carries you gently toward fulfillment of destiny. Destiny written not in stars, but in depths of your own heart. Heart that beats in rhythm with cosmic drum of creation. All beings connected through invisible threads of love. Love that flows from recognition of shared divinity. Divinity that shines equally in every heart, without exception. Children of universe, growing up into full expression of power. Power that comes not from domination, but from service and love. Before, when you entered this space, carrying burdens of daily life, life that recedes now into background of peaceful awareness, truth that you are loved, supported, and completely safe. You step forward into the space between spaces where time has no meaning, and the air itself seems to shimmer with possibility. Your eyes adjust slowly to the gentle luminescence that emanates from the walls of the drift chamber themselves. There is no up or down, here only the soft, undulating glow that moves like breath through translucent quartz. You feel your shoulders drop as the weight of intention simply melts away from your spine. The ambergris rises first sweet and ancient, like the memory of ocean depths. Then comes the moss green and earthy, grounding you even as you float. Each breath draws these scents deeper into your awareness until they seem to pulse with the same rhythm as your heartbeat. Solara Reed stands before you, not moving, but somehow present in a way that transcends physical positioning. Her eyes hold the depth of still water, reflecting back not your image, but your essence. There is no judgment in that gaze, only recognition, as if she has always known the quiet truth of who you are. She extends her hand toward you, palm up, cradling something that seems to exist both as object and as pure potential. The MacGuffin rests there smooth as river stone worn by countless currents, yet somehow also newly formed. As you reach toward it, your fingertips tingle with the anticipation of connection. The surface meets your touch with surprising warmth, like sun, warmed marble that has been sitting in perfect stillness. Yet there is also coolness, there a deep undertone that speaks of underground springs and hidden caverns. You realize as you hold it that its weight shifts, not in your hands, but in your perception. Sometimes it feels substantial enough to anchor a ship. Sometimes so light it might dissolve into mist at any moment. This shifting density mirrors something deep within you, a part that has always felt uncertain about its own reality. Solara's voice reaches you not through your ears, but through the bones of your chest, resonating at a frequency that bypasses thought entirely. She does not speak words exactly, but concepts that unfold in your understanding, like flowers opening to morning light. What you have been seeking is not something to be found, but something to be remembered. The peace you chase in meditation, the stillness you crave in quiet moments. These are not destinations, but aspects of yourself that have never left. You feel your breath deepen as this realization settles into your cells, one by one. The tension in your jaw releases without conscious effort. Your shoulders broaden as if making space for a presence that was always there waiting to be acknowledged. Cellular moves closer not through space, but through states of being. Her arms open, and you find yourself stepping forward into an embrace that contains multitudes. The hug wraps around you like a cocoon made of pure compassion. You feel the boundary between self and other begin to soften like sugar dissolving in warm tea. There is no losing yourself, here only discovering how much larger you have always been. The scent of her hair mingles with the ambergris and moss, creating a new fragrance that speaks of homecoming. You notice how the pressure of the embrace changes with each exhale, becoming somehow more complete. Your heart rate slows to match the rhythm of the hum that seems to emanate from the very walls of this place. The sensation of being held expands beyond the physical realm. You feel held by time itself, cradled in the pause between moments, held by space, wrapped in the infinite patience of stillness. The MacGuffin in your other hand begins to resonate with a frequency that matches your own. It is not vibrating exactly, but pulsing with the same gentle insistence as a heartbeat. You realize that this object is not separate from you, but an extension of your own capacity for stillness. The mist that curls around your ankles carries the coolness of mountain streams. You can feel it against your skin, like silk gauze brushing across nerve endings. With each step you take, the mist responds, lifting slightly, as if acknowledging your presence. There is no sound of footsteps, because there is no need for movement here. Yet you feel the satisfaction of progress, the deep knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. Cellular's voice returns carrying the weight of ancient wisdom, spoken in the language of now. The goal you have carried like a torch through so many seasons, the thing you thought you needed to achieve or become. This is already woven into the fabric of your being, not as a future possibility, but as a present reality. You feel the truth of this statement settle into your solar plexus like a warm stone dropped into still water. Ripples of understanding spread outward, touching every part of you. The ripples reach your fingertips, and you notice that the MacGuffin has grown warmer. Its surface now pulses with a rhythm that matches your own breathing. You understand, without being told, that it is not responding to you, but revealing what was always there. The embrace continues to deepen, wrapping you in layers of acceptance. You feel your individual boundaries becoming more permeable, like the membrane of a cell, selectively allowing in what serves while remaining whole. The distinction between giving and receiving begins to blur. You are both the one holding and the one being held. The mist rises higher, now reaching your knees, then your waist. Its touch brings a cool relief that contrasts beautifully with the warmth spreading through your chest. You notice that wherever the mist touches your skin, it leaves behind a subtle tingling, a reminder that you are being touched by something vast and loving, something that knows the shape of your soul better than you know it yourself. The hum grows louder, not in volume, but in presence. It seems to come from everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. You realize that this is the anchor that has been holding you steady all along, not something external that you must grasp, but an internal frequency that you have always carried. The resonance moves through your body like a tuning fork, finding its perfect pitch. Each organ, each muscle, each breath aligns with this fundamental tone. You feel yourself becoming more solid, not in a physical sense, but in terms of presence, more real than you have ever been, because you are finally aligned with your own truth. Solara's embrace shifts, subtly becoming less about holding and more about witnessing. She steps back slightly, but remains close enough that you can still feel her presence like a warm current. Her eyes meet yours again, and you see reflected there the person you have always been. Not the person you have tried to become, but the one who has been waiting patiently beneath all your efforts. The MacGuffin in your hand has stopped pulsing, not because it has lost its energy, but because it has found perfect harmony. Like two musicians who no longer need to signal to stay in sync. The mist continues its slow dance around your body, leaving trails of coolness that gradually warm as they touch your skin. You notice that the temperature difference creates tiny waves of sensation that travel up your legs. Each wave carries with it a sense of release, as if your body is remembering how to let go. The ambergris scent strengthens, bringing with it memories of ancient forests and patient growth. You breathe deeply and feel your lungs expand, not just with air, but with understanding. The moss fragrance joins the ambergris, creating a harmony that seems to unlock something deep in your chest. A door that was never locked, but simply forgotten, opens with the ease of recognition. Behind this door lies not knowledge, but knowing. Not information, but integration. The difference feels like the moment when dawn finally breaks over a long night. Solara speaks again, her words arriving not as sounds, but as shifts in your awareness. The lesson you came here to learn was never about acquisition. It was about recognition of what has always been true, about remembering that stillness is not a state to be achieved, but a home to return to. You feel your feet connect more fully with whatever surface supports them, though there is no floor in any conventional sense. There is a grounding that comes from alignment with your own center. The mist begins to settle lower, now swirling around your ankles like playful kittens. Its movement creates tiny breezes that brush against your skin with the gentleness of feathers. You notice that these sensations are not random, but follow a pattern as natural as your own breath. The hum continues its steady presence, weaving through everything like golden thread, binding together the scents, the sensations, the silence into one cohesive experience. You realize that you are not experiencing these things separately, but as aspects of a single unfolding. The MacGuffin in your hand feels lighter, now not diminished, but refined, as if it has shed all unnecessary weight to reveal its essential nature. You understand that this too is a metaphor for your own journey, the process of becoming who you are by releasing who you thought you should be. Solara's presence begins to fade, not disappearing, but becoming less distinct, like a lighthouse keeper who has ensured safe passage and can now rest. Her final gift is the confidence that you can navigate this territory alone, not because you must, but because you can, because the tools you need are not external objects, but internal resources. The mist continues its gentle circulation, now moving more slowly, as if settling into a rhythm. You notice that your breathing has synchronized with its movement, inhaling as it rises, exhaling as it falls. This simple coordination creates a profound sense of harmony between your body and environment. The ambergris and moss scents have blended into something new, a fragrance that speaks of completion without finality, of cycles that continue rather than conclusions that end. You breathe this new scent, deeply feeling it integrate with every cell. The MacGuffin pulses once more, a final acknowledgement before settling into stillness. Its warmth spreads through your hand and up your arm like honey poured slowly. You feel this warmth reach your heart, where it seems to pool and radiate outward. The hum reaches a crescendo, not loud, but full, encompassing every frequency that makes up the symphony of your being. You recognize this as the resonance that has been calling you home all along. Solara's voice returns one last time, carrying the weight of benediction. What you have learned here is not meant to be stored away, but lived, breathed, integrated into every moment. The stillness you have found is not a destination, but a way of traveling. You feel the truth of this statement resonate in your bones. The mist begins to lift, now moving upward like breath, exhaled toward the sky. As it rises, you notice that it carries with it a subtle sparkle. Tiny points of light that wink out of existence as they reach the translucent walls. The ambergris scent fades, first leaving behind only the memory of its sweetness. Then the moss follows until only the neutral quartz atmosphere remains. But you carry these scents with you, now woven into your cellular memory, available whenever you need to remember this place. The MacGuffin in your hand has cooled to room temperature. Its surface now feels smooth and ordinary. But you know that this ordinariness is actually extraordinary. The ability to find magic in the mundane, the sacred in the simple. This is the true gift that has been placed in your hands. The hum begins to fade, not disappearing, but becoming background, like the sound of your own heartbeat, which is always there, but not always noticed. You realize that this too is part of the teaching, that the most important frequencies are often the ones we do not consciously hear. Solara's presence has faded to nothing visible, but you can still feel the imprint of her compassion, like the warmth left behind by sunlight on a windowsill. The mist has completely dissipated, now leaving only clear air and the gentle glow of the quartz walls. You notice that this glow seems brighter, somehow more present than before, as if the act of letting go has allowed more light to enter. The scents have vanished, but their effect remains. You feel grounded and expanded simultaneously, rooted in your own truth while connected to something vast. The MacGuffin sits quietly in your palm, no longer pulsing, but perfectly still. You understand now that stillness is not absence, but fullness, not emptiness, but completeness. The hum has settled into silence, but the resonance continues, vibrating at a frequency that bypasses hearing and speaks directly to being. You feel yourself becoming more solidly yourself with each passing moment. Not the self that worries or strives, but the self that simply is. The drift chamber continues its eternal glow unchanged by your presence, and yet somehow different, as if it too has been touched by this encounter. You realize that transformation is not always about change, but about revelation, about seeing what was always there with new eyes. The ambergris memory surfaces one final time, bringing with it a sense of deep belonging. You belong here, not in this specific place, but in this state of being, in this recognition of your own inherent wholeness. The moss fragrance echoes in your memory, carrying the promise of growth without effort. You understand now that becoming who you are requires nothing more than allowing, than trusting the natural unfolding of your own truth. The MacGuffin warms slightly one last time before settling into ambient temperature. Its message delivered its purpose, fulfilled. You know that you could put it down now, and it would remain exactly where you left it, waiting patiently for the next seeker who needs to remember. The hum has faded to a whisper of itself, barely perceptible, but absolutely present. You recognize this as the frequency of home, the sound that will always guide you back to yourself. Solara's blessing lingers in the air like incense, invisible but unmistakably real, carrying with it the assurance that you are never truly alone. The mist mist has returned to, wherever mists go when they are not needed. But its cooling touch remains as memory and as possibility, ready to appear again whenever you need reminding that you are held. The ambergris and moss have completed their work, leaving behind only the integration of their gifts. You carry them now not as scents, but as states of being. The MacGuffin sits perfectly still in your hand. Its purpose served its message, received. You understand that it was never meant to be kept, but to be passed on, like a letter that delivers its contents, and then becomes ordinary paper again. The hum has settled into the silence from which it came, but the resonance continues in ways that do not require sound. You feel it in the steadiness of your breath, in the surety of your heartbeat, in the quiet confidence that arises when you stop trying to become someone else. Solara's presence has dissolved into the space itself, becoming part of the architecture of stillness that holds all seekers. Her gift completed her purpose, fulfilled. You know that she will appear again when the time is right. When another soul needs to remember the peace that cannot be lost, the drift chamber glows with the same gentle light, unchanged and yet transformed by your presence. You realize that this too is part of the teaching, that true transformation happens not in changing the world, but in changing your relationship to it. The scents, the sounds, the sensations have all faded, but their effect remains woven into your awareness. You carry this place with you now, not as memory, but as living presence, ready to return whenever you need to remember who you are. You feel the gentle vibration of 417 Hertz beginning to resonate within your chest. It moves like warm honey through your ribcage, spreading outward in slow waves. The sound seems to dissolve any remaining tension in your shoulders, as if tiny knots of worry are simply melting away into pure golden light. Your breath naturally deepens, matching the rhythm of this healing frequency. Each inhale draws the vibration deeper into your body, while each exhale releases layers of old patterns that no longer serve you. Imagine Corin Quill standing before you, now bathed in soft amber radiance, presence feels like coming home to a place you never knew you missed. There's something ancient and wise in their eyes, yet completely gentle, like they've seen every version of yourself and loves each one unconditionally. They extend both hands toward you, palms open and welcoming. The gesture needs no words because everything is already understood. In this space, there is no judgment, only complete acceptance. Notice how your heartbeat begins to synchronize with the pulsing tone. 417 Hertz isn't just sound anymore. It's become part of your very essence. The vibration travels down through your arms, settling warmly in your fingertips, as if preparing them to receive whatever healing energy flows through this moment. You can feel the texture of peace beginning to settle over your skin, not rushed or forced, but allowed to drape itself around you like silk. Every cell in your body is remembering what it means to be at rest. Corin's voice reaches you now, soft as morning mist across still water. There's no need to strain to hear, because their words touch your soul directly. They speak of forgiveness, not as something you must earn, but as something that was always yours to claim from the very beginning. The concept of unworthiness dissolves like sugar in warm tea, leaving behind only the sweet clarity of your true nature. You realize now that love has been waiting patiently all along. Feel the weight of silence settling around you like fresh snow. It's not empty or void, but full of potential and infinite possibility. This silence holds space for every unspoken truth to emerge gently, without pressure or expectation, just pure being. Your thoughts begin to slow down one by one, like fireflies blinking out as dawn approaches, until only the steady hum of 417 Hertz remains. Imagine your feet now making contact with cool, smooth stone. The surface responds to your weight with gentle firmness, sending up vibrations that travel through your legs, bringing grounding. With each step you take, you feel more connected to the earth below. The stones seem to remember every footstep of those who walked here before, creating a pathway of collective wisdom beneath your souls. And somehow, you know that you belong here in this sacred space. The air around you carries the faint scent of vanilla and cedarwood, These aromas seem to unlock memories of safety from long ago, perhaps from childhood summers spent in grandmother's kitchen, or quiet evenings wrapped in a favorite blanket by the fireplace. Your nervous system recognizes these scents immediately, beginning to release the final traces of stress stored in your tissues. Like old friends returning after a long journey apart. Notice how time has become elastic, stretching and contracting as needed. This moment contains multitudes, yet feels perfectly simple. There's no rush to move forward or backward, only to sink deeper into the warm embrace of this eternal now. Your breathing has slowed to match the pulse of the universe itself, each cycle bringing you closer to perfect stillness, where all seeking finally comes to rest. Corin moves closer now, their presence like sunlight filtering through leaves. Patterns of light and shadow dance across your awareness. But instead of confusion, you feel only wonder and curiosity, as if seeing the world through new eyes for the first time. They don't need to touch you to convey their message, because the healing is already happening within you through the simple act of being fully seen and accepted. Feel your spine lengthening as if reaching toward the sky above. Vertebra by vertebra, releasing any compression from years of carrying. The weight of responsibility and self. Doubt simply melts away, leaving behind a column of pure light connecting heaven and earth. Your head feels lighter, as if clouds have lifted from your mind. Thoughts that once seemed so urgent now drift by like passing birds, too distant to cause any disturbance to your inner peace. The temperature around you seems to regulate itself perfectly. Not too warm, not too cool, but exactly what your body needs. This subtle adjustment brings comfort that spreads through your limbs, like slipping into bed with freshly washed sheets on a Sunday morning. Your muscles begin their own conversation with relaxation, softening and yielding to forces greater than tension or resistance, as if finally learning the language of effortless being. Listen carefully to the spaces between sounds now. Within the silence, there's a quality almost like velvet, rich and textured rather than empty or absent. These pauses give room for understanding to bloom naturally. without pushing or forcing anything into existence. Your mind settles into rhythms older than memory itself, where knowing comes not from thinking, but from simply being. Imagine warmth beginning to gather in the center of your chest, starting small like a single candle, flame in vast darkness, but growing steadily stronger with each breath you take. This heat carries with it feelings of safety and completion, as if your heart is remembering how to trust completely. All previous conditions and limitations falling away like autumn leaves, revealing the tender courage that lives beneath. Corin's gaze meets yours now with infinite patience and compassion. There's no hurry in their expression, only deep recognition, as if they're seeing past all the stories you tell yourself, straight into the core of who you've always been. In this look, there's no demand for improvement or change, only celebration of the perfection that exists right now, exactly as you are in this eternal moment. Feel your shoulders dropping away from your ears naturally. The chronic tension that lived there for so many years, finally surrendering to the pull of gravity and grace, like old armor that no longer serves its purpose. Your neck elongates as the weight lifts from your upper body, bringing relief that radiates outward in concentric circles, touching every part of you with healing frequencies. The vibration of 417 Hertz seems to intensify now, not uncomfortably, but like a mother's lullaby growing more familiar. Each note carries within it the promise of transformation. Slow, deliberate changes that honor your readiness. You can feel cellular memories shifting and rearranging, like puzzle pieces finding their correct positions after wandering, creating a picture more beautiful than you ever imagined. Notice how your pelvis tilts slightly forward now, aligning your entire spine with the force of gravity. This small adjustment brings balance that extends beyond physical form into emotional and spiritual equilibrium as well. Your feet feel rooted like ancient trees, weathering gentle storms, while your crown opens toward possibilities yet to unfold, creating a channel for divine energy to flow freely. The air itself seems to shimmer now with invisible particles, each one carrying messages of love and encouragement, too subtle to see, but impossible to ignore in their effect, lifting your spirits like morning light through cathedral windows. You breathe these particles in without effort or intention, trusting your body to absorb exactly what it needs. When it's ready, and not one moment sooner, imagine your hands now opening wide as if receiving gifts, palms facing upward, vulnerable, yet confident in their receptivity. Energy flows in through your fingertips like cool mountain streams, washing away any remaining residue of resistance or doubt. Your fingers tingle with aliveness that spreads up your arms, connecting with the warmth still glowing in your chest, creating circuits of pure joy throughout your being. Corin speaks again now, but their words bypass your ears entirely. Instead, they resonate directly within the chambers of your heart, telling stories of courage that already lives within you, of strength that has never truly been lost, only hidden. Their voice carries frequencies that activate dormant potentials, like keys turning in locks you forgot even existed, unlocking doors to dimensions of yourself you're just beginning to explore. Feel your knees unlocking now, as if joints themselves are remembering ancient dances of flexibility and ease, stiffness that seemed permanent only moments ago, dissolving like ice in spring sunshine. Your legs feel strong and supple, like those of a young deer, ready to carry you wherever you need to go, yet perfectly content to remain exactly where you are. The boundary between self and environment begins to soften, like colors bleeding into each other on a wet canvas. There's still distinction, but no separation anymore. Just different expressions of the same underlying unity. You can feel the pulse of life in everything around you, in the stones beneath your feet and the air above your head, in Corin's presence and in the space between your own thoughts. Imagine your belly now expanding fully with each inhalation, the diaphragm moving like gentle waves in a protected bay, drawing in not just air, but also peace and possibility, filling spaces you didn't even know were empty. With each exhale, you release layers of conditioning, habits of thought and movement that no longer fit, making room for new ways of being to emerge naturally. The light around you seems to have gained texture now, like honey or cream, thick enough to almost touch, yet transparent enough to see clearly through. This luminous atmosphere wraps around you protectively, filtering out anything that doesn't serve your highest good, while amplifying the frequencies of love and healing, creating a cocoon of pure supportive energy. Notice how your tongue relaxes against the roof of your mouth, a small gesture that releases tension throughout your entire head, like loosening a knot that affects an entire rope. The jaw unhinges from its habitual clenching pattern, allowing your face to soften into expressions of peace that you may not have worn in months or even years, returning your features to their natural state of openness. Corin's energy seems to expand now, encompassing more space, not by moving closer, but by becoming more present, like a candle whose flame grows brighter without changing size. Their presence touches every corner of your awareness, reminding you that you are never alone in your journey inward, that guides and helpers exist in dimensions beyond the physical, always available when you're ready to receive their support. Feel your entire nervous system slowing down now, synapses firing with more space between each impulse, allowing for deeper processing and integration, like a computer defragmenting its hard drive, organizing information according to natural hierarchies rather than artificial constructs imposed from outside, creating harmony between all aspects of your being. The ground beneath your feet seems to respond to your weight, not by sinking, but by rising slightly to meet you, like the earth itself acknowledging your presence and celebrating your return to wholeness. Stones shift, subtly adjusting to create perfect support, as if the landscape is alive and responsive to your needs, participating actively in your process of transformation. Imagine warmth now flowing down from your throat, through your chest, and into your abdomen like liquid gold, pooling in your solar plexus with gentle persistence, dissolving any remaining fears about power or control. This heat carries with it the confidence of your authentic self, ready ready to express itself through actions aligned with truth, without apology or hesitation. The silence around you deepens, now becoming almost audible, not empty, but full of pregnant possibility, like the pause between thunder and lightning, charged with creative potential waiting to manifest. In this profound quiet, you can hear your own heartbeat clearly, steady and strong like a drum calling you home to the center of your own being. Corin's smile reaches you now, though their lips haven't moved, communicated through light and energy rather than muscle. This expression carries unconditional acceptance for every part of you, including those you've judged harshly. In their gaze, there's no need for fixing or improving, only appreciation for the complexity and beauty of your human experience, and gratitude for your willingness to journey inward. Feel your hips widening, now creating space for expansion. Physical embodiment of your readiness to birth new possibilities. The pelvic bowl opens like a flower, greeting the sun, preparing to receive whatever wants to emerge. Your sacrum releases its grip on accumulated stress, allowing energy to flow freely between earth and sky, connecting you to both roots and wings simultaneously. The vibration of 417 Hertz seems to spiral now, moving through your energy field in sacred geometric patterns, clearing pathways that have been blocked for too long. Like rivers finding their original courses after drought. Each rotation brings deeper levels of integration, parts of yourself that have felt separate beginning to reunite, creating wholeness from apparent fragmentation. Notice how your skin responds to the atmosphere now, pores opening to absorb nourishment from the ether, while simultaneously releasing what no longer serves. Like a membrane that knows intuitively what to allow. Your complexion glows with health that comes from alignment, not effort or manipulation, but natural harmony between all systems within your magnificent vessel. Imagine your breath now extending deeper into your lungs, reaching areas that may have forgotten how to fully inflate, bringing oxygen to cells that have been waiting patiently for permission to heal and regenerate. With each cycle, you're reminded of your body's intelligence, its ability to repair and renew when given proper conditions, and space to remember its original blueprint. Corin's presence seems to merge now with the ambient light, becoming less individual and more universal, like a guide who helps you recognize your own inner wisdom, rather than providing answers from outside yourself. Their energy reminds you that help has always been available, living within your own heart as intuition and love, waiting only for you to trust its guidance. Feel your entire back body relaxing now, from the base of your skull down to your heels, releasing tension that has accumulated over countless days, like sediment settling in calm water. Your spine curves, gently returning to its natural shape, free from the distortions of fear or self-protection, standing tall in the truth of who you are. The air temperature adjusts again, now cooler and more refreshing, like stepping into shade on a hot summer day. This change brings clarity that washes over your thoughts, clearing away mental fog accumulated from daily concerns. Your mind feels spacious, like a cathedral with high ceilings, echoes of worry fading into peaceful silence, leaving behind only essential knowing. Imagine your feet now actually feeling the texture of each stone, the slight variations in surface creating a massage with each step. Your soles become sensitive instruments of perception, connecting you more deeply to the Earth's energy grid. Balance improves naturally without conscious effort, as your body remembers its innate coordination. Grace replacing any previous awkwardness or uncertainty. The frequency of 417 Hertz seems to harmonize now with the natural resonance of your bones and organs, creating a symphony of healing that plays continuously without needing your attention or approval. Your body recognizes this vibration as friendly and supportive, like meeting someone you've known in many lifetimes, familiar yet infinitely deep and mysterious. Notice how your temporal lobes relax now. The parts of your brain responsible for processing time seem to slow down, allowing moments to stretch and deepen. Like taffy pulled by gentle hands, past and future fade into background noise, leaving only the rich fullness of present awareness, where eternity lives in each breath. Corin's energy now feels like a warm embrace, wrapping around your shoulders and holding you close, not possessive or limiting, but infinitely supportive, like being held by the universe itself. In this embrace, you remember what it feels like to be completely loved and accepted without condition, free from performance or proving anything. Feel your ribcage expanding now in all directions, like a bird preparing to take flight, but remaining grounded in perfect safety. Breath fills spaces that seemed too small before, oxygenating not just blood, but also spirit, bringing vitality to every corner of your being, illuminating shadows with gentle light. The atmosphere around you shimmers with visible energy, particles dancing in patterns too beautiful for words, yet perfectly understandable at the level of soul. This display celebrates your willingness to let go of control and trust in the natural flow of transformation. Surrender becoming not weakness, but profound strength, opening doorways previously sealed by effort. Imagine your fingertips tingling now with electrical energy, subtle currents running through nerves, awakened by peace. Your hands feel alive and responsive, ready to create or comfort as needed. Nails strengthen and skin regenerates as cellular intelligence reconnects with source. Healing occurring at the speed of trust. Corin's voice resonates now through bone and tissue. Frequency rather than words carrying meaning directly. Speaking to parts of you that never learned language, but understand love in its purest form. Their communication bypasses mental filters, touching hearts rather than intellects, activating wisdom encoded in DNA. Feel your pelvis tilting slightly backward now, completing the circle of alignment begun earlier. Spine finding its neutral position through natural movement, rather than forced posture or discipline. Sacral chakra opens like a blooming flower, releasing creativity and pleasure long suppressed, making space for joy to return home. The light around you pulses gently now, synchronizing with your heartbeat and breath, creating a visual representation of your inner rhythm, like watching your soul's signature in motion. Color shifts from gold to silver to deep blue, reflecting different aspects of your multidimensional nature, each hue carrying specific gifts for your awakening. Notice how your neck releases its chronic tension, the cervical vertebrae aligning effortlessly, like planets finding their proper orbits. Blood flows more freely to your brain, carrying nutrients and oxygen in abundance, while removing waste products accumulated from stress. Clarity emerging from previous confusion. The ground beneath your feet feels solid, yet yielding, like walking on sand at ocean's edge, supportive without being rigid or unresponsive, adjusting automatically to your unique needs. Stones warm underfoot despite cool evening air. Geothermal energy rising to meet your descent, connecting you to Earth's ancient heart. Imagine the 417 Hertz frequency now vibrating through your entire energy field, clearing blockages in meridians and nadis, like sound therapy for your subtle anatomy. Chakras spinning in perfect harmony, no longer overactive or underactive, but balanced through resonance. Corin's presence expands to include all directions: north, south, east, west, above, below, encompassing you in 6-sided protection, while maintaining intimate connection. Their love feels infinite, yet personal, like ocean containing countless drops, each drop precious and unique. Feel your shoulder blades drawing closer together, then gently apart, creating space for your heart to expand, like wings preparing for flight. Thoracic spine opening to receive inspiration, lungs filling completely for the first time in what feels like forever. The silence now holds color, deep purple shot through with silver threads, representing the marriage of mystery and clarity, where unknown becomes known through direct experience. In this colored silence, you find answers to questions you never consciously asked, wisdom arising from stillness. Imagine your knees bending slightly now, not from weakness, but from suppleness, like grass swaying in gentle breeze, ready to spring back without losing form. Joint fluid lubricates perfectly. Cartilage rebuilding through vibrational medicine. Aging reversed at cellular level. The air carries frequencies now, too subtle for ordinary hearing, but clearly perceptible to expanded awareness, orchestrating healing at quantum level. DNA strands realigning with original blueprint. Cellular memory updating to reflect current truth rather than outdated programming. Corin's energy merges completely now, becoming indistinguishable from ambient love, like starlight that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. Their guidance lives within your intuition, no longer external authority figure, but inner compass pointing toward truth. Feel your entire being vibrating now, in harmony with cosmic frequencies, matter and spirit unified through resonance, boundaries dissolving into pure awareness. Time becomes irrelevant. Space becomes infinite. Love becomes everything. Let the edges of your awareness begin to soften now. The world around you grows quieter with each breath, not because anything has changed out there, but because you're choosing to turn inward, to settle into the space between thoughts. There's no rush here, no need to hold on to anything at all. Your body already knows how to release, how to let gravity take its gentle hold, how to let your weight sink down through layers of comfort. You don't have to make this happen. It's already happening. You're already moving deeper into a quiet that feels familiar, like returning to a room you've always loved. The images that were once sharp begin to blur now, fading gently like light through a curtain. No detail too important to leave behind. No worry too urgent to dissolve. You're safe here in the space between seeing and knowing. Let your eyelids grow heavy if they haven't already. They're just another part of you learning to rest, not closing off the world, but opening up to something softer, something that lives beneath the surface of your usual thoughts. You don't need to understand everything right now. You don't even need to remember it all. Just allow yourself to be guided by the rhythm of your own breathing, by the warmth that's always been there, waiting quietly for moments like this one. The resonance begins to move through you now, not as sound, but as sensation, a low and steady pulse that matches your heartbeat, slower than that even, deep enough to reach every cell in your body. It flows down through your chest, through your arms, through your legs, and back up again, carrying with it every trace of tension you didn't even know was there. There's nothing you need to fix, nothing you need to change. This is about allowing, about making space for the peace that's already inside you, waiting patiently to be welcomed home. Let your shoulders drop a little more. Let your jaw unclench without effort. Let your fingers relax completely. Your toes, too. Your whole body is learning to say yes to stillness. You're not going anywhere. Not really. You're just sinking into the part of yourself that never moves, that never changes. That's always been and always will be. Steady and sure beneath the shifting surface of everyday life. The air around you feels different now, warmer somehow, as though it's wrapping itself around you like a blanket. Soft cotton or maybe wool, something you'd reach for on a cool evening. Without thinking, without hesitation. Your breath slows naturally, not forced, not controlled, just allowed to find its own rhythm. Deeper than before, fuller, more complete. Each inhale drawing in calm, each exhale releasing what no longer serves you. You're becoming lighter, not physically, but in the way that matters. Free of the weight of small worries, free of the pull of unfinished thoughts, free of the need to be anything other than exactly what you are. There's a current of ease running through you now, gentle but constant, like a river that knows where it's going, not rushing, not stopping, just flowing steadily toward a place of deep rest. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to guide it. You just let it carry you. The same way you might float on your back in warm water, trusting the surface to hold you up, trusting yourself to breathe. The images drift away like clouds now, dissolving into the background of your mind, leaving only the feeling, only the peace. You don't need to see anything now. You don't need to do anything now. Just rest. The resonance doesn't stop when the words do. It continues its work while you rest, moving through you in ways that don't require understanding, touching parts of you that know how to heal, even when your conscious mind has forgotten. Your body knows what to do with this. Trust it. It's been doing this longer than you've been aware, longer than you can remember. It knows the language of calm, the rhythm of restoration. You're not separate from this process. You are it. You are the stillness. You are the warmth. You are the quiet that settles over everything when the noise fades. There's no need to hold on, and no need to let go. Just be present with the feeling of being held, of being supported by something larger than your daily concerns, larger than your thoughts, larger even than your breath. This peace is always here, whenever you need it, whenever you want to return to this feeling. It will be waiting, like a favorite blanket, like a door that's always unlocked. You can come back anytime, not because you have to, but because it feels good to remember, to reconnect with the part of yourself that never changes, that never tires, that never doubts. For now, you can let go completely, not of anything important, but of the need to stay alert, the need to stay in control, the need to stay busy. You're safe here, in this moment, in this breath, in this feeling of deep and lasting calm, where everything is as it should be, where you are exactly where you need to be. Let the last of your thoughts drift away now, not pushed aside, but simply released, like leaves falling from a tree, each one carrying with it whatever it needed to, leaving behind only the quiet strength of the branches. You're not disappearing. You're becoming more fully yourself, the version of you that exists beyond effort, beyond striving, beyond the need to prove anything to anyone. Rest now, not because you're tired, but because you're complete, because you're whole, because you're exactly as you're meant to be. The resonance carries on, softly, steadily, like a lullaby sung by the universe itself. Not to put you to sleep, but to remind you that you were never truly awake. In the deepest part of you, there is no waking. There is no sleeping. There is only presence. Only the eternal now. Only this. You are love. You are peace. You are the quiet space in which everything happens, and nothing ever truly ends, because everything returns to you. Everything comes home. Sleep now. Until we meet again in the quiet spaces between thoughts.